The Saints and the Blues. Perfect bounce, perfect conditions, and a free kick picked out straight away. Brian crashing into Kajitsky, and he'll take the first free. It'll end up with Xavier Clark streaming forward. Here he comes, the big man. Got a couple to beat. Teague did really well. Came across in front of Gehrig. The double fister across the line.
Dennis Pagan's going to demand some more accountability from the likes of Camporelli. He looks like he may have the run with job of tagging Nick Del Santo.
This is the section of the ground that is most slippery. Ackland over the top. Keep an eye on that. Brian peeling for the free out the back to Bowyer. His handball was iffy and put Stevens under enormous pressure. Here they go, the Saints. They apply it. Trying to break the tackle with Scotland. It's left to Stevens. Milne's got him. Did he take him on? Got rid of it just in the nick of time, you feel. And Livingston's handball was half to the man and half to the boundary. And just relieves pressure temporarily, Gary.
Stephen Baker slow to get to his feet there. He was cleaned up. Andrew Walker continues his education. He's tagging Lenny Hayes.
Forward 50 Saints. Taking a while now. We've got a blood rule here. So the umpires got the crossed arms, and you're quite right, Gary. There he comes, the little fella.
Actually, not sure how he inflicted that. He's running with, here it is. Yeah, it's just some friendly fire even, maybe from Schwarz.
Yep, caught a Schwarz elbow, I think.
Oh, it even might have been Livingston, but anyway, nothing untoward, and he's come on. It seems like a fair gash. So he's off, and coming on for his first run is McWalter.
How much does that upset the structure, Gary, in the first minute of the game where you've done a week's planning?
No, not much, Bryce. Given that there were 90-something interchanges on Friday night, they come on and off pretty regularly.
There he is, Gary. Just Friday night mentioning he might want to wander into the coach's box at some stage, and that's what you can expect when he does. Over the top, Del Santo. Powell got that broken up. Footy on the deck and the Blues under pressure. Scotland run down from behind. They're very good when they're very hard at the ball carrier, the Saints. That's how they've come out today, inside the forward 50, the fist away from Milne. Again, the forward pressure enormous from St Kilda. Powell to Goddard. Inside the 50 they go again, and the player going over was Ackland. Got the handball to Thompson. Close range, bouncing ball. Fraser over his head, and he misses the lot. No, snuck it in for a behind.
They are switched on and ready to play, Gary. If body language is any indicator, the Saints are here to play today.
Indeed, and big phrase there, almost something special, but no, their attack and tackling early in the piece has put Carlton under enormous pressure.
I'm a real believer in the early signs of body language, Gary, and the Saints just look like they're here to play. Maguire thumping it down. Look, they're just locking it inside their forward 50. Opportunity after opportunity. Thompson trying to break the tackle. Umpire will ball it up. Umpires today, by the way, Matthew Head, Kieran Nichols, and one of the fastest whistleblowers I've ever known, Ray Chamberlain, is with us today.
Big razor.
He's there, and he blows a powerful P. Believe me. Oh, there you go, Brian. Scotland working hard early. Bowyer, Camporelli. Through half-back. Haven't crossed the centre of the ground yet, the Blues, and there's the first opportunity. Whitnell's in good position here. Maguire was strong over the top. Aussie back in the side today for the Saints. Coolly off half-back. Powell searching. Needs clean hands, found it. There's the follow-up ball to Jones. The driving one out. Gehrig did well, Livingston. Milne the danger, keeps his feet. He's an expert at that. Hurried the shot. Minor.
Well, you just mentioned that, keeps his feet. This is the area of the ground that Jason McCartney tells us is the slipperiest, and there is Ackland, no one near him. Mark the footy would have had a shot from 25 out, just lost his feet.
Big phrase there, just mentioning to Milne that handball over the top mightn't have been a bad option, as Brian brings it back in with a raking left boot. Goes in search of Walker. Got out at the front, the fist forward, very good. Thompson sells a couple. Back to Aussie Jones. Into the corridor. Kick not great. And Heath Scotland parked there. Took it very comfortably. Got it off to Thornton. Now some room for the Blues to move outside. Carrazzo. Long forward. Longmuir in good shape. Good hands. Nice climb from the former Docker. Handball into McGrath. Inside the 50. Here comes the Fev. Got the hands on it, but couldn't get it to stick. Still a chance here for Carlton. Now they descend on top of the footy. And the umpire says, give it to me.
First real opportunity, wasn't it, for Carlton? And he did get into reasonable position and just wasn't able to hold up some of the matchups.
Blues get back to their feet. They're forward into the ground. Favola, one of those key matchups today. A lot resting on his shoulders at this end of the ground. Not a lot of bounce on the ball at that end. Stevens in an attempt to dispose of the ball. They're desperate, the Saints. Look at them dive on it. Kazitsky working hard for a big man at ground level. Goddard off half back today. His form and consistency is gradually improving for the Saints. Weak ball.
My boy.
Just a wonderful player, Gary. Kick to half forward. Teague, Thompson, Milne, just the front and centre star of the competition. Here he goes. Unselfish. That's something that he's brought to his game. That he's brought to his game over this season. Perhaps early in the year he was criticised for it.
Actually, I never, very rarely disagree with you, Bryza. But I think last year was number 1 or 2 assist player in the competition, Stephen Mill. So maybe over the last couple of years he's
well, it might have been the start of this year, Gary, where he's taken off a couple of times for not giving when he should have.
Yep.
And here we go, the big fella, the man that gets it done in the centre circle, Ackland. Point blank range, 35 metres out. Kick is good, got the right curve. First goal of the day, the Saints.
Six goals straight from set shots for Kane Ackland, which is a pretty good return. He pushes forward at the right time. In fact, he's now starting forward with Koutafidis, with Kazitsky going into the ruck. So they've got that flexibility of playing the two tools in a key position or having them run around the ground. But it was terrific work from little Stephen Milne.
So the Saints get the first through Ackland. It's a substantial old twig that Gary's wandered out on, Brian, just nominating Ball as his man in the first minute.
We always say we like to call him early in the piece.
Just a very obvious man, Gary.
As obvious as you could find on the ground, I would have thought. Restart. Here he is. Stepping through a couple. Left foot to half forward. Mark dropped by Bowyer allows Ackland in. His handball not great. He'll go back and get it. Aussie Jones has started the game well after being reintroduced. High ball forward. Fraser at the back. It carries him. Teague instantly claimed by Milne. The tackling's been a feature for the Saints. This ball in the direction of Houlihan came off his shin, I think. And over the line boundary throw in Jason McCartney.
Yeah, big job for Andrew McWalter. He's gone on to Nick Stevens, and terrific atmosphere down here. Over 36,000 people in.
Good crowd on a Sunday afternoon in Melbourne at the Dome. We'll find out what's happening with Baker and when he's due back, if we can, shortly, because that's why McWalter is on. Koutafidis, Carrazzo combining off half-back. The drawing handball was good to Bowyer, who's getting a bit of it early in this one here today. Carrazzo forced to kick hurriedly, but it was well placed, perfectly positioned, and Stevens marks uncontested. Sells a bit of candy on McWalter, and look at that. An outside ball. Favola had the jukes out, failed to reel in the ball when he probably should have.
Sun any factor, or is that being too generous?
Small factor, Gary. Goddard, though.
Too generous.
Going forward, Garrick on the bounce. Look at that. The ball fake. Forget the body fake. Livingston, the smother, though, was good. Camporelli still got to go because Milne has been desperate for the ball in forward 50 in the opening 7 minutes of this game so far. Lenny Hayes.
Saints relentless. Around the corner. Camporelli's been good. He's sat down hard, though, by Powell. Bowyer gets the handball back, and now it's over the line.
Free kick.
Deliberate.
There he is.
7-3 to tackles in favour of the Saints. That would appear to be a focus of theirs early.
Riser just keeping an eye on Ray Chamberlain.
Oh, he just scooted in that fast. It was beyond belief.
It was a good decision, Brian.
It was.
Down the ground. That's a good kick. Here comes Kuta through the centre. Sits it up for Stevens. Ball carries him. Can he reel it in at the back? McWalter chasing hard. Stevens keeps his feet. Well done. Now the soccer off the ground. Wait. In some space. Left foot centering ball. No good. And Xavier Clark's got it. Have we got a jumper clash issue here today, boys? Or
No, one's blue and one's red, white and black. Okay, JB, and the umpires are in yellow. No clash.
All right, Del Santo has it on the Medallion Club wing.
Why would you ask, Jim Bob?
Didn't need the obvious stated, just an answer to the question as the kick's into Maguire in the centre.
Great kick.
Nice kick this is. Kaczynski on a long lead in front of Bryan. Look at Raphael Clark run forward and just unravelling for the Blues defence.
They've got an issue with their ruckman at the moment. They seem to be content to have Koutafidis run with Ackland, and that means that Bryan then has to go with Kaczynski. Now, Kaczynski went into the centre bounce and contested the ruck, but then pushes forward at his leisure as Baker comes back on for McWalter. He'll go to Stevens. But then Bryan couldn't run with Kaczynski when he went forward.
Raph Clark. That's what's confronting him for the Saints second. They're up and about St Kilda. That's not his absolute best. In fact, it misses the lot in the end. Out in the full.
Now, Bryan is one of the greatest goal kickers ever to play the game. You just got to kick the same, don't you? Regardless of how far out you are. Just poked at it.
No, that's not true, Gary.
Right.
That is not true. I hate to disagree with you, but every shot, well, close shots, you perhaps wouldn't bang it as far as you would from 70, Gary.
That was a bit of a poke, was it not, Bristler?
Just, you know, you asked the question. I guess you want a direct answer. Can only give that.
Lost a bit of faith in you.
Scotland. Low Chisler. Kuda. And this section of ground where Kuda is right at the moment is the questionable part of this dome surface at the moment, as Luke Darcy today on Sunday Footy Show lashed out. Mark taken by Waite, who's a real developing. Will he eventually be a key position player, Gary?
I don't think so. I think he's just one of those roaming forwards.
Going to be one of those days where we disagree, Gary. Favola fighting hard. Well done, Hutchton. Xavier Clark back into the side for the Saints. That's a welcome return too. They'd love to see him in form today. Kaczynski captaining the side today. Thompson normally starts on the bench. Got his chance here today. There's ball. Garrick one out. Got rid of his man.
Beautiful
Slipped
kick.
Livingston at the last moment. Couldn't hang on.
Just a beautiful kick from Luke Ball. And some great work by Kaczynski. They're going to have to make a decision, Carlton. And there you see a player fall over. Pretty important to keep your feet in that situation. But Kaczynski, if he is allowed to run around the middle of the ground with Bryan, who's a ruckman, Kaczynski more of a big forward, that's going to cause all sorts of problems.
I think we're going to see this man kick his 50th goal here today for the season. He's on 48 at the moment. And this one, surely, for Fraser, as he comes in and just steers that one, Gary, rather than try and bang it hard, gets the Saints second.
Jeez, Big Prize has joined you out on that twig.
Yeah, talk about going out on a limb.
It's two of you sitting out there now.
It's just nominated that Fraser's going to kick at least two. It's really going out there, big man. Look at Kaczynski here, though. He is the equal leading possession winner on the ground. He's just working around, moving around the ground beautifully. So he's in at the centre bounce, so he's directly opposed to the young man Chris Bryan. Well, Chris has just got to understand that some defensive parts of the game.
The Saints look good. Have started with significant intensity, and they have a couple on the board. Aussie Jones just keeps getting it in his comeback game after sitting in the twos for a while. Schwartz was very hard at it. Goddard got it back to Aussie. Over the top. This is nice.
The other man.
Look at the Saints just really starting to arrive. Long from Kaczynski. Marking player needed. Ackland's got about 4 to beat. Teague was very good. Talking about players who have spent some time in the twos. Fairest and best winner last year. Out of the side a couple of weeks ago, but that was a wonderful mark. And sideways to Camporelli.
They are just running in waves at the moment. The Saints moving like the peloton in the Tour de France. Gary Whitnell a long way from centre half forward now.
Lance, speaking of the Tour,
Gives it off. Good looking ball in here from Longmuir. High ball for Vola. Free kick's been way which way? Saints, no goal. White kicked it, but retreat umpire who's got the sunnies on today because the sun is shining in the eyeballs at that end of the ground.
yeah, if you can see Brendan Favola back to the footy. The same thing happens to defenders every week, of course. And there's the 50-metre penalty that they do not need at this early stage.
That was a verbal 50, was it, Gary?
Well, it had to have been. They couldn't see any other reason, right? Let's go down to Jason McCartney.
Fiskey's been able to push deep forward with Jason Blake coming onto the ground playing in the ruck. So some big problems for the Blues and the big man department to match up on that.
Yes, and some big problems from a discipline point of view. That's not what Dennis Pagan would like to see early.
Voss. In the ball direction, Bowyer getting back and getting his fair share of the ball early.
Gary very hot on this verbal issue, Brian. He doesn't like to see it happen at all.
Wants to take out any communication in the game at all.
Personality, spunk.
It's called being disciplined and biting your tongue, something you two have had no real experience in.
No, it's called getting into the groove of the game.
No, it's not,
being
Brian.
Emotional about it.
They're the rules, Brian. Play by them or suffer the consequences.
Houlihan, high and long. There's the big boy Fev. Unable to take it and ball over the line. Of course, Brian, this coming from the man who was reported twice for umpire abuse in his playing time.
No,
Gary.
not umpire abuse.
Was?
No, it was not, Jim.
Better than I was, twice in the one day.
Interchange, race side of the ground, and a free kick's been picked out. And it's going to go Houlihan's way.
Just their structure up forward, they get brought up the ground because St Kilda are running so hard that they just are all over the shop at the minute.
Prendergast goes back to provide a big target. He's double teamed. And Maguire, the Ross Glendenning of the modern era, with the lovely jukes, takes a very good mark.
Has played 14 games this year, this man, and has been very good in most of them.
Whose boy is he?
Oh, well, I'll have him then. They go high ball for the wing. Too many others. Del Santo tackled by Curtis Fedes and a couple of others, one of those Scotland. Ball ping to him.
Well, Maguire's playing on Lance Whitnell. They've taken Lance back to the goal square a bit, pushed Brendan Favola up with Maxie Hutchinson, his opponent.
It's 14-0 at the moment. And there's my man in the yellow, Ray Chamberlain. Chief P-blower. And the whistle.
He's done it again, Rosa.
Yep, that'll go the Blues' way. Prendergast at half-back. Between half-back and wing, really. Houlihan looking to get loose around the back door, but Goddard's aware of that. And just there's a 50-metre penalty for Del Santo, who went around the back. Now, that is not a 50, umpire Ray. That's Ray.
Is that a character out of F Troop, Chief P-blower?
Well, I'd just like to see the replay on that. Let's have a look at Del Santo. He's gone around the back of him. That is not a 50.
It is a poor decision from Ray.
Prendergast, 55 out. Long ball, lovely kick. Pat Maguire worked hard for Vola. Nailed. Wait. Kept it alive. But McGough, the former Pie, there to relieve pressure.
Sets Goddard an awful task with the handball. He's taken out of play, and the ball will be thrown in.
Great pickup by Brian here. Now, just have a look at Del Santo. There's the man with the ball. He has gone around the back of Prendergast, and Big Ray just got momentarily confused. But we all make mistakes.
So the boundary throw in 50 out from the Blues goal. They didn't score one in the last half of the game last week, and might have just snaffled one, and this game hasn't exactly started in goal-scoring fashion for them either. Camporelli sits the ball up in favour of the big spearhead forward for Favola. Hutchinson did really well. Earned himself a free. And another 50 against Brendan Favola.
He's lost it.
He's got to get off. They've got to take Brendan Favola off the ground.
No, not Brendan, the umpire.
Oh, what was the 50 for?
I don't know.
It keeps happening, Gary. You defend this,
now,
look, it's just mindless.
Look at that. Now, tell me that that's a disciplined performance by a man. The free kick's given. The umpire isn't going to change it.
It's a man wanting communication, Gary, with an umpire, and he should get the communication back.
That's ridiculous.
Explain your decisions.
That is selfish.
Ball in the hands of Walker. Taking the ground, holding the ball.
You want to point the finger somewhere, you point it to Brendan Favola, and look at him, he's going off at the moment in the middle of the ground.
He's going to come off.
Now, Dennis Pagan would agree, I would think, with me, Brian, and for you to defend that sort of stuff is nonsense.
Defending that particular action, Gary, the one before, I will.
How many times does it have to happen before players learn that you just have to button up?
Oh, look, Gary. you're just continuing to want to sanitise our game. I mean, that's where you're going.
Raf Clark kicks a bit of a helicopter forward, and it lands safely in the chest of Teague. He goes to Stevens with a beautifully weighted kick. Stevens interfered with, and another free kick picked out. Hold on it at the minute. There is Stevens, and Baker and Koutafidis bang on. And the crowd starting to get involved in it as well. Just got to get some composure back.
Well, it's only 14 points. That's the good thing for Carlton. I know they haven't scored, but they haven't been blown out of the water yet.
They've stopped all the flow that St Kilda had and taken their eye off the ball momentarily. Whitnell hard in the air. Backhands Bowyer. Camporelli needs a good sit. Got it. Confirm it up inside 50 and nail it home. That'll bring the house alive.
Well, that's the best possible result, given that there was a big period of domination or dominance from St Kilda, and now to be only 8 points down is the best thing that could possibly happen for the Blues. And there's a bit of passion in the game now. That's probably the other good thing they need. A little bit of spite, bit of vigour, get their backs up a bit, take some exception at the way that the Saints were playing them, and they're back in it.
Brendan Favola sits it out after a couple of verbal 50s.
Yeah, well, this is a good challenge for Brendan now. He's going to cool his heels for 5 or 10 minutes to come back and show just the sort of stuff he's made of.
High Prendergast, and then he went back and got it himself. The Saints try and get a clearance going their way. Goddard, head over it, and the footy will be rebounced.
Kaczynski sitting at the moment. We might just go down to Jason McCartney the next chance to see whether or not Brendan Favola was on the phone at all, or he just went to the back.
Camporelli, the goal kicker, high inside the forward 50 to Blues. Fist away. Lance tried to get his hands on it, was unable to. Voss overrun it. And again, the stacks on will result in a ball up. Let's go to Jason McCartney.
Yeah, JB, he came off, cooled his heels for probably 3 or 4 minutes, and now he's just got off the phone from having a chat with Dennis. They've got a pretty good relationship. I think he wanted to refocus. They need him up there and firing.
Dennis and the team up there, hands full today against a team looking to finish in the final time. Camporelli fighting it out with Houlihan, Blake. And they've done well in the last 5 or 6 minutes, the Blues, just to take the focus away from St Kilda and what they were doing with the hard ball, Gary.
Indeed, and Kaczynski's off the ground now. They're having a bit of trouble getting through half forward. Koutafidis is playing centre half back, which could be a good move for the Blues. And as the game's tightened up.
Centre ball, Stevens, Voss with the tackle, Stevens with the foot skills and the elusiveness. Create a bit of havoc. Jones, I've liked his start to this game. He's decided to run and be super attacking, and that's a bit of a mishap. But look, he's trying to take them on in the foot race, Gary, and you can't blame him for that.
No, he's got an awkward bounce. They're away too, the Saints.
Some room here for Maxey out the other side. He goes to Milne. The fist across from Walker was good.
Del Santo comes off, Hayes comes back on, so Grant Thomas not afraid to rest his big gun players. I guess this is a 4-quarter battle, not trying to blow Carlton out of the water.
Not able to do that at the moment, just the 7-point lead enjoyed by the Saints. McGough went without it. Bryan, an emerging player, tried to get the handball out of there. This is Lappin, sells a bit of candy, and then the pumping long ball in the Longmuir direction. Couldn't hang on. At the ground level, Simpson settles and goals.
Cheers, a great crumb. A little bit of niggle continues off the ball. But that is just a sensational crumb. We talk about crumbing in footy. This is what it's all about, boys. Just have a look. Front and centre. You saw Aussie Jones, I reckon, was his opponent, peel off to the side of the pack. There's Aussie, see, on this side, number 5. Simpson went to the spot where he's supposed to go, and as a defender, Aussie should have been shoulder to shoulder. Maybe that's why he's out of the team.
Blues back in business. Latter stages, first quarter. McGough out of the middle. Hayes. For Phil Clark, wonderful ball handling skills. Knock on by Blake to Milne was always on, but Stevens there defensively did well. And happy to find the line. Nick Stevens.
Yeah, this is, as I said, you boys, the crumb. Look where Aussie goes. He goes to the side, and Simpson goes to the front and square part of the ground. Beautiful play.
And Aussie being the defender, Gary
should have been all right with him instead of guessing where it was going to go.
Okay, it's the forward's job to guess in that situation, Gary.
The forward goes exactly where he was supposed to go, front and square. If the forward wants to sit in the fifth row, the defender goes with him, Brian.
Teague, Whitnell down at full back now. Transfers this one and complete the Livingston. Dropped an easy mark. Garrick, rather than run at him, corrals him, did the right thing. Simpson kicked that last goal for the Blues. Marks half back. Just under 3 remaining in this first quarter, which has been a quarter of 2 halves, with the Saints looking incredibly impressive in the first half of the quarter, Gary, and the Blues stemmed the flow in the second half.
Quarter of 2 halves.
Exactly. Thornton wide, sets up another opportunity. Bowyer, around the body. Stevens chisels this one sideways. Houlihan just got down to it. Unable to claim the mark. Lappin, time ticking. Forward, over the top. Prendergast runs and makes room, can run all the way. Inside 50, winds it up. And a little bit of pressure, hasn't got the journey mark. On the line, wait, yes or no? No, says the goal umpire. And we have got a 14-point apiece ball game.
I think, am I right in saying that Carlton hadn't scored when Brendan Favola was on the ground? They've now kicked 2 goals too?
You're correct, Gary. Goddard has it kicked out of his hands. Blake went without it. McGough, little inching handball, was okay to Lenny Hayes. Now Fisher.
Wondering why you doubted yourself at all, Gary.
High down the line. 2-on-1 situation with Ackland, Koutafidis and Teague.
That's a good point, Brian.
They just have to get the seating arrangements fixed at quarter time. We've got to sit between the 2 big boys. They're just an unhappy camp at the moment.
I'm wrapped. It's a good game.
Ryan over the top. The former Magpie McGough picks it up. High to half forward. Lappin in best position. Should have taken the mark. Got lots of time anyway. Off to Bowyer. And they can settle from the back line, the Blues. Walker.
Whitnell gone down to play loose in Carlton's defence, which means Maguire is up there. Hutchton's on his own at the moment, so he's got nowhere to go.
Then you go in the weight direction. He's double teamed. Schwartz at the front couldn't mark. Have to be careful. Maguire at the back of all of that. Slipped it over the top to Lenny Hayes. Made it hard for him. Walker. Sensational. They've got time for another score here, the Blues. Left foot ball inside the forward 50. Maxey, Hutchton, happy to concede the ball across the line. It's been a much better Carlton performance in the last 15 minutes.
Well, you're spot on, Gary. 2 goals coming on Carlton's end of the ground have come after Brendan Favola left the ground. And he still sits and resides on the bench nearing the quarter-time break. Prendergast with a clever tap back over the back, and Hayes just runs uncontested out of the Carlton forward line. Aussie Jones looking to create with pressure. And to go backwards, Hutchton. Short ball wide, Baker. Got a knock early in the game. Been to have some staples inserted in that, and he's ready to go. Schwartz with 30 seconds remaining in this first quarter football. Entertaining it has been. The Saints under a bit of pressure from the team at the bottom of the ladder at the moment. Voss. And just prepared to chip and wait their way forward at the moment. The Saints, knowing that Whitnell is in the back line. 10 seconds remaining in this quarter. They'll have to kick it long from this ball to be a hope. They wouldn't know the exact time out there, although the runner is out there. Maguire wide. Hutchton, and that'll just about see it out. So, at the quarter-time break, an interesting game. Favola spent the last 10 minutes.
Chamberlain to bounce the ball. And Kosicki will go at it with Prendergast, I think. Kosicki may have got the first touch on it. Ball to the back, and there's my man Maguire.
Oh, hello.
High with the left boot forward. And that's going to get to half forward, and the line pretty close, and now it's over. I don't just jump on him on the day, Gary. I've been on Maguire now for most of the season.
Well, I think Brian claimed him, so you can't have him, I'm afraid, James. But Maguire was loose. Teague was a corresponding loose in the St Kilda forward line.
From the boundary throw-in. Powell thought about possessing the ball. Bowyer now does. The umpire lets it go. This is Powell with the high ball forward. May just land inside the field of play. I think it has. We'll have another boundary throw.
Interesting one. Nick Del Santo polled 6 votes in the Brownlow, the most possible, of course. When in the 2 games against Carlton last year, they sent Camporelli out to do the job on him, and he's doing it well. Just 4 possessions, Del Santo.
Prendergast. Ackland. Palm down. Milne. 2 open goal. I think it is. There it is. That is lovely ruck work. Well done.
Yes, looking forward to having another look at that. Beautiful ruck work. Just wonder where Milton's opponent gets to. Bowyer. He is well and truly on the move there. That is just beautiful work. And coaches and people talk about touch and feel. Well, when you got someone like Stephen Milne, you need to almost have some sort of body contact with him at every single moment. The minute you don't, you're in a bit of trouble.
The Saints get the first of the second term through their goal sneak. Milne. Baker read that well. Another clearance, another forward 50 entry. Milne's got Teague to beat on the ground. The tackle was good. The second effort was good. Teague now has to work hard. Look at Del Santo. The balance sets it up for Kosicki at the back. Can't take the mark. Stands up and misses the goal from point blank range.
That was great work by Milne because, as I mentioned, Teague is loose in the back line. So Milne was 1 against 2, was able to lay some tackle, put some pressure on, and win the footy back. It was a terrific effort.
Replay. Kosicki got back to his feet, but just was unable to compose himself for that last little period of the kick. Houlihan in the back pocket. The shadow's starting to gobble up even that southern end of the ground now. Camporelli, the first goal for the Blues today, working in that last line of defence. Simpson got the other, who's the aerialist there, but at the back, this man here got the last. Jones. Powell needs to get rid of it. Scotland. Walker uses his pace. The bounce. And now the low ball. Lappin. It was difficult for him, but he got it. He claims it, and umpire agrees. Got the light blue boot tie on today. Has Lappin. Short kick. It was meant for Simpson. He slipped. Allowed Lenny Hayes, the former skipper of the Saints, to get a piece of it. Told Del Santo.
He'll go sideways. Measures it nicely to Max. And Hodgson can dump it off down the line to Voss. Voss called to go. Low ball in the Milne direction. Made contact with Bowyer and gave away a free in the process. The former Hawk, Glenn Bowyer, steers it, looking for Walker. Kosicki at the back. The hands were fantastic. And he takes a good mark. He'll go looking for Garrick. 1 out he is, but it won't get to him. Bowyer again, reading the play very nicely. The handball a little dangerous. Very dangerous. Baker in the square. Did not make contact. That
is the miss of the year.
He had time, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he did. He just missed everything. It's an airy. 13 possessions, Bowyer. The 13th wasn't his best, but he's getting a lot of the footy.
How do you compare that and Lee Harding's from Friday, Gary?
Well, at least Lee made contact, I suppose.
Out wide, Waite in front, used his body well. Goddard was there to make it a 2-on-1 and help out Hodgson. Voss arrives and Thompson's sun in the eyes, just shielding them momentarily now over the top of the ball. Got some evasive work to do, and he's a polished performer at that, and the delivery was good. Garrick haven't sighted him much today, just the one goal. Lappin defensively working it wide. Simpson pursued by Jones. Carrazzo running support. Johnson, look at this. Just a wave of runners down the field is a great sign for the Blues. Thornton, what do I do? No one deep, can't kick it. Got to keep possessing it here. It wasn't his fault. If he'd kicked it, it would have been gobbled up by Hutchton. And now the turnover as a result.
Big clash in the centre from Prendergast. Still the Saints come. Fisher high. 2-on-1 situation here. Ackland might have just got a fist in there. Teague hard at it. Barrier knocks up, getting the footy.
They're nice and hard at the minute, the Blues.
Camporelli assesses his options well. Gets it to Houlihan, right in the middle. Houlihan to Simpson. Just outside the 50. Low burn and allows Whitnell.
Kaczynski is sore too. He caught one in the back of the kidney region. And right now, Carlton are serving it right up. Their pressure's been great. Just the structure is one thing, I suppose. When you do win the ball and you're running down the wing, you hope that there's a long target. There wasn't that, and Brian called it beautifully. It just wasn't the player's fault that held the footy up, because Maguire was that loose man.
22 goals on the season for Big Lance. He's got this to draw the Blues to within 2 points. Distance should be no problem. Low ball. And that's away to the left. A disappointing result.
Is it ever when goals are going to be so hard to come by?
Justin Kaczynski, Gary, and looks like he's enjoying the responsibility of leadership today. I wonder whether he's dropped a couple of kilos. He looks lighter in the legs to me. Got a bit more mobility and might have had a week at the farm, I don't know. But Ackland competing here says, get out of the way, Cooter. I'll give you what you normally give others. Baker, a high hoiking ball to Merrill, outmaneuvered by Bush. Razor, push. Oh, Ray was there, blew the P and blew it loud and clear, and I thought maybe wrong.
It's the ball streaming down the Doug Hawkins wing for the Blues, and Stevens looks again to Whitnell. Oh, well done, Maguire. If he needs to prove anything, he just keeps doing it week after week. The big boy, Matt.
What did he do then? I thought it was Voss.
Could have been. Carlton's won just 2 after this season. The least of any club. Might need to get a replay on that one, Gary, just to see. Ball picks it up. Steps around. And he's in trouble. Got out of trouble. Now he's got himself into some. Clark. They chain the handballs out of here, the Saints, but they're not right out of trouble.
And good pressure again from Carlton.
Nick Stevens. There's Voss. Lenny Hayes breaks the weight tackle and goes to Ackland, who sticks out the jukes and takes the footy, gives it back to Lenny. Around the body, not a great option. Stuck it down the throat of Carrazzo.
Haven't looked like getting it to Fraser Gehrig today.
Half forward, isn't it?
Any sort of style, have they? Through the middle, Johnson. Teague, the running back. Delivery forward. Got a break here, Simpson. Out in front, Longmuir it is, in fact. Couldn't run it down before the line.
Now, it's all good and well to have your boys when you do some commentary, but you just probably got to get it right. And there it was, the big fish, the Voss, who got absolutely no credit from Jim Bob Brayshaw.
What you didn't see was the good work done off the ball by Maguire, which is what I was referring to, Gary.
You liar.
Boundary throw in deep in the Carlton 50. Lance. Baker. Hudson. Cool. Risky little chip over the top, but effective, efficient. And Fisher's out of the loop. Unnecessary handball. Was never on in my book. Scotland now happy to have a neutral situation in the middle of the ground so they can regroup. Let's go to Jason McCartney.
Yeah, BT Fev still cooling his heels on the interchange end. They're getting a bit of footy. It's probably nearly time he gets back on there to full forward.
Yeah, all of a sudden they just look a little like they're not going to get something up full forward area, Gary.
Long target's what they need, is just as much as St Kilda need a presence at half forward. Looks like Ackland's almost trying to take Koutafidis away from half forward, which is good and well, but then it leaves St Kilda with no target.
Went off the 19-minute mark of the first quarter, did Favola, and we're now at the 10-minute mark of the second quarter, so coming up to a full quarter off the ground. Houlihan and Whitnell allow each other to do it. Maguire says, OK then, I'll get it and give it to McWalter. Ball. Gee, they're under enormous pressure every time they get it to Saints, Gary. Look at this, there's a player running them down every time, Walker, who didn't touch his opponent Hayes then, but what he did is create the pressure that he could only kick the ball down the line and not centre it in any way.
Yeah, well, maintain that half forward is where they're falling down. They just cannot get the ball to Fraser Gehrig. And Kane Ackland might have to get on the ball. Kaczynski might have to play that key centre half forward post.
Ball thrown in. Del Santo. Was he being held? Gets the handball forward to Milne. The pick-up was sensational, but he can't get around two of them. And he's gone. Teague. And half back for the Blues. Dumps it off to Lappin. Bouncing around the outer side. Simpson and Jones, and the fist away was good.
4 free kicks against Stephen Milne, so that is something they're going to have to address. They've got to try and keep that footy in there, forward 50 a little longer. But he's been involved in so many contests, Milne, because he's almost the primary target outside of across half forward.
Bryan and Kaczynski. Picked up by Thompson. Jones was slung. Lenny Hayes stepping through. Long ball forward. Ackland and Gehrig. Ackland in from the side. Had his name written all over it.
Well, that's one of the reasons why maybe he should be presenting more often across half forward, as opposed to perhaps being a bit conscious of taking Cooter away. He did go to ground there, Cooter. But you just got to go after it, and he's been okay. There's nothing wrong with the way he's played. As Favola comes back on,
got one on the afternoon. Big Kane, 8 for the season. Let's see how he goes from this spot. Good kick, and the Saints go further ahead.
He is a dead eye. A set shot. I think that's 7 goals straight. Kane Ackland's kick this year from set shots. He's probably just got to get to a couple more contests. That would be the only thing, and present a bit more when the ball is coming out of St Kilda's half-back line.
Oh, well, I'm sure the Fraser Gehrig would have been happy about that. Drifted across in front. Fraser had the big juke set. Saints only 2 goals in the second quarter, and we're 13 minutes in. Low scoring affair here at the Dome on a magnificent day. It's due to the pressure. Milne knocks to Kaczynski. Thompson through traffic, did it well. Fisher now spots up and finds ball. The centering ball is a good one. You saw Del Santo shield the eyes. He had no idea where it was in the end. Powell had to go. The quick kick out of the pack goes straight to the acting skipper for today. Around the body, looking for Fraser Gehrig, but found the little man Milne over the top.
He's starting to get on top a bit, just starting to win more of the footy and keeping it in their forward half more often. 13 free kicks given for the game, Bryza. How many from Ray?
7, Gary. 7.
12.5 for Razor.
Wow. 7 from Ray today out of the 13. This man has 20 goals, 2 from set shots today.
Stays 20 goals, 2.
This year, those stats, of course, not today, because it hasn't been that sort of scoring game that he would have accumulated 20 goals, Gary. Just a few channels operating at the moment as we go to Whitnell.
All right, mate, you're going all right. Keep your chin up.
Lance. The broadcast wing. He goes with the low ball. 2-on-1 situation. Very tough for Lappin. Ball fisted away.
That is an amazing stat. 13 frees given today. 7 to Ray P-Man Whistle Chamberlain. And that is a man that's jumpy on the whistle, Jason McCartney.
Yeah, Grant Thomas, he's moved Brett Voss forward, so he mans up the loose David Teague.
High from Lappin. Inside the forward 50. Goddard, did he get a piece of Longmuir? Not according to the umpire. Waits hands to Walker were good. Walker's wrapped up. Free kick Longmuir.
Should have got the first one, Troy Longmuir. Umpires picked up the second one against Brendan Goddard. He got him high in the marking contest. Very, very courageous player, Troy Longmuir. Just hasn't been able to get his body absolutely right. Hasn't been the most reliable kick of all time over the journey.
Longmuir. Much needed goal for the Blues if he can steer it through. Haven't kicked one in this second term, and that isn't a goal. Missed it away to the left.
Shot of the Carlton minute work. Looking concerned at the moment, Dennis Pagan. He would be happy with where his team is currently at, I would have thought, against a side that was expected to beat them comfortably. In the back of the pack sees Bryan pick the ball up and hammer it back with a lovely kick to Simpson on the lead. Distance will be his problem here.
What a magnificent pass from this young fella, Chris Bryan. He's got some talent. We saw him play here a month or so ago and had a really good game. He's got a beautiful left foot, but he's also just shown there that he's got a nice bit of touch as well.
Now this, from this position, normally swings left to right, and you've really got to aim it between the points and the goals, and mentally that's hard to do. And so he won't have a go at it.
Great.
And he centres it lovely and finds the big fella that originally gave it to him in Bryan.
Dare I say it, the ruckmen think they've got a licence just to wander off on their own and pay. There's Blake in the corner of the screen. Just pay lip service to their opponent. Distance, not a problem from here, and good, well thought out by Kate Simpson.
What is it with you and ruckman these days, Gary? You're not getting on at all well with the big tall men of our game.
Just need them to realise that sometimes they've got to play on someone.
Bryan for the first Carlton goal of the second quarter from beyond the red stripe, and he has nailed it. Lovely.
What he has got a nice bit of mullet work going there, the young Sandringham boy, Gareth.
Played, in fact, with Frankston most recently, Jim Bob, so...
Might give it away.
It's still very, very, very fashionable down there. Although when you're talking fashion, you need no further than our own Bryza.
Big Bryza.
He's
had the stylist in.
He did have the stylist out during the week just to trim the moustache up. All the nasal hair work.
Bryan, very impressive young ruckman from Sandringham getting the job done there. The Blues get one back. McGough. The handball will bounce, but it'll bounce okay.
Kick.
High ball forward from Maguire. Look at the big pump from Maguire ending up in the hands of Kazitsky.
Just a magnificent kick it was. It travelled probably 60 to 65 metres and it was free kick, mark, whatever you want to call it. Big Fraser in front position there. And here a couple of times now he's been the one that's wrestled away and only for teammates to jump over the top.
Justin Kazitsky to get one straight back for the Saints. Kick on the way is there.
I'm just going to have a look and see where Maguire comes off the back of the line. Yeah, Lance Whitnell just slow to react there. And that kick was an absolute beauty. And the big man Kazitsky, when he gets front spot, pretty hard to budge. Once again, I suppose, not young, but Brett Thornton, he's forever giving away height and weight.
3 goals to 1 in the second quarter St Kilda's way. When you kick it long and they've got big tall fellas down there deep, Gary, that can take the contested mark. It looks a positive way to go. McGough's handball missed the target. Bryan from beyond 50s proved he can go the journey. That one had no accuracy. As goal umpire Vendicat suggests, it wasn't a good kick.
Mark McGough is not quick with legs but quick with hands. He's just got to make sure that every time he does give one off, it finds a target.
Big boy Fev, Gary, just really struggling to get acquainted with the Sheriff. Still hasn't touched it. There he is in this term since coming back on the ground. Maguire goes in the Goddard direction. Did well to make a contest to that. Teague was terrific. Back to Whitnell. Good kick from that player. And this is Bryan. The left foot weapon just goes long to the square. It's bouncing there. Longmuir, Lappin, wrapped up Stevens and Baker. And over the line.
She has not had a very busy afternoon at all, Brendan Favola.
Well, the runner's out there speaking to him at the moment, Gary. Seems to be playing high at the moment, deliberately.
He does.
Boundary umpire doing the job. Whitnell also getting it done, but Del Santo was there to see the handball to Fisher and the short ball to Hayes under pressure from Walker. Brendan Favola is playing more of a half-forward role at the moment than the deep forward role that we so often see him play. Got a couple to beat here, Blake. Here is Favola's first touch of the game. Bit of an unorthodox handball out the side door to Houlihan. His kick was chipping like. And Voss, the steadier at half back.
Gets it out in front of Blake. There it's the surface here that's been spoken about so often. Simpson skates around. The left foot ball from outside the 50s there.
Nice finish from the young man. He's done a couple of nice things, Kate Simpson. He's got a good footy brain. Let's have a look at this. There he goes. Over he goes. How much that can be put down to the ground, how much to balance, how much to boot selection is a little difficult to tell, but it doesn't appear that it happens too often elsewhere. Nevertheless, lovely finish. Young debutant comes on for his first run, and this is a very special time in a footballer's life. Jordan Russell, the young fella, come over from Adelaide. Good luck.
Under Rafael Clark for his first job. You just see number 16 and number 2 there together. Jordan Russell, number 9 in the overall pick from last year from West Adelaide. Let's go down to Jason McCartney.
Yeah, BT, same as the first quarter, 22-minute mark. Lance Whitnell just drifts down behind the play, plays a loose man role, which leaves the Saints. JB's boy, he's free.
He does, and that's a dangerous proposition. We've seen him kick the footy. He's able sometimes to kick over lines.
Look at the players around the ball here. Have a look at that. All matched up, one-on-one.
Free kick, the young man, I reckon.
Johnson.
No, Russell, I reckon.
Okay. It is. There's his first kick in league football. Came from the men in yellow, but doesn't matter how you get him. Whitnell wide. Opportunity here to be picked up by McGrath. Centering kick danger. Got a couple here, the Blues. Bryan with the one hand. Rafael Clark went without it. Blake. Fisher, who's been one of their steadier defenders in this game so far. Milne doing some defensive work. Now Hudson can go corridor if he wants. Ackland supplied a good lead at half-court. Ignored that. The Favola tackle on Baker was good. The Milne kick, 2 in a row for him, not so efficient. Camporelli. The Blues are applying enormous pressure here at the moment. Johnson needed fast hands. Didn't quite have them. And now Saints got a push. It was paid. So is the advantage. McGough looking to kick the ball. And that's a skill of the game that is not working out for him at the moment. And I think that one was out of bounds on the fall from Garrick. He thought it was out of bounds on the fall. And Ray Chamberlain, well, he's just outrightly confused.
Well, he's disappointed that the whistle hasn't gone off, Razor. Well, I think that was out on the floor, I reckon.
Crowd certainly thought it was. Look at the Blues fans up and about. His team are too. against a quality opponent. They're playing well. Stevens. That wasn't great from him. Normally good by hand. Set it out in front of ball and he'll be wrapped up. Jordan Russell, Gary from West Adelaide, of course, a club guided by Sean Wren, and provided lots of players for the AFL since he's been there. The big puss, he's a good guider of young footballers.
Who?
Sean Wren.
Yeah, but who was he sent to the AFL?
To that in a moment, Brian, as we just call the football not enough time to run through them all as we get to Xavier Clark. Long ball in the Garrick direction.
Great effort too. You got any special? Free kick, Garrick. Oh, free kick against Livingston for holding, I would suggest. After Teague showed great courage to run back with a flight.
Pulled him down with the arm. See that? That's what the umpire's saying, but supporter suggesting he look at the replay on the big board.
It was a tough call. Let's have a look.
Technical. Very technical.
So Fraser.
It's got a bit of work. He's got the visor going.
Should kick his second. And he does.
Well, it's Fraser Gehrig, who hasn't had enormous opportunity, it must be said. Luke Livingston doing a pretty fair job on him. The left arm goes around. Now, is that holding him back? He wasn't even going for the contest in the end, Fraser. I'm not sure that's a free kick.
Fraser didn't even know. If he thought it was a mosquito on his back.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't even feel it. We are doing our best to rule out all body contact out of our game, Gary, with decisions like that. That's now a common decision.
Puzzling one. Still looking forward to hearing about that plethora of West Adelaide players that have come on and had a huge impact.
I think,
leave it with me.
He's gone to the media guide to try and...
They don't spring to mind, Bryce. Is that what you're
Adam
saying?
Cooney's the one that did immediately spring to mind. I'm trying to build on him if he isn't enough.
Lots of them.
Yeah, I thought there must have been at least a dozen, the way he was talking.
Hayes to put the Saints forward again. Late in this first half, Ackland provided a real target across that half-forward line. Garrick with that thumb. Del Santo. Thompson. Del Santo, free kick off the ball. It'll be paid a goal with the advantage. Umpire said it's all clear. Let's wait. Goal, Thompson, St Kilda.
It's just a goal-kicking machine, Andrew Thompson. All right, it's just his second for the year, but I tell you, he's got the ability to kick them. Beautiful conversion. The advantage was the free kick was paid to Del Santo. Thompson took the shot anyway, which is the right decision, and had he missed, I'm pretty sure it would have come back to Nick Del Santo. So he's given them a bit today, Andrew Thompson, coming off the interchange bench.
The Saints put the foot down as we approach half-time. Not a great bounce. Del Santo spins into trouble. And he's gone for incorrect disposal.
The Blues have been brave. They'd love to peg one back here just prior to half-time.
Corazzo, long ball forward. Whitnall's run down. He's got a couple to beat here. Maguire in some space. Wrapped up well by Big Lance. Xavier Clark now ends up with it. He's corralled. Gets it to Baker. Wrapped up. Handball back. This is good forward pressure from the Blues. And they keep it in the area.
Great work. Great work up in that Carlton forward line. Big possession winners. Glenn Bowyer's got 16 now. That's a good effort, but he probably doesn't use them. I reckon it's even a St Kilda ploy. We'll let him get a fair bit of the footy. He doesn't hurt us as much. His opponent, though, does. Milne when he gets it.
5-2 quarter in favour of the Saints, so they're gradually crawling away from a dogged Blues outfit here today. Just a minute and a half to go in the first half of footy. We've seen the youngster Jordan Russell introduced into senior football for the first time in this second quarter. There's a good shot of Ray Chamberlain. Ball knocked down in favour of Lappin. Corazzo, difficult boundary line ball, but got it to the top of the square. The danger zone here. Blake Saints out one side, Fisher's away. Look at this, they've got the run. Max will be able to do as he wishes. Favola supplying the chase. Hodgson into the middle, put power under the pump.
Whoa,
Oh boy. Now Thompson's got a battle with Voss. Schwartz in between a triangle of Blues. Manoeuvred beautifully. Schwartz delivering to Fraser with a bum. And with 30 seconds remaining in the first half, Fraser will line up for his third goal.
The Favola chase put enough pressure on to keep the ball in and around the middle for a little while, but then the 1-2 from Schwartz was great play. And Fraser's had a bit of work down at the barber as well. He's coming up for goal number 3.
Clock is a-ticking. Well, Fraser just gets set. Here he is, 52 metres out, looking for goal number 3, and just worked it to the near side. And a minor would have been a handy one, would have been 3 in a row for the Saints to finish off the half. And now the Blues just need to be very careful in the last few seconds here.
Stevens.
Nothing yet.
Shielding his eyes over the top. There's the halftime siren, Gary. The Saints go in with a pretty good halftime lead.
Well, they do, but take nothing away from their opposition.
Second half underway. Saints by 18 points. Goddard. First clearance of the second half. Prendergast. Kick wasn't great. Baker ran straight at it. So did Scotland. Able to tidy it up with Powell.
Oh, look at that.
It was great. Ball. Schwartz from 50. Good ball. St Kilda flying start. 3 in a row for the Saints.
They all go to Stephen Baker, and rightly so, because he ran hard and straight. Then the class and skill of ball to find Thompson. Nice conversion from Schwartz outside 50 there. The sort of start they would have been looking for. They've coughed and spluttered a bit, the Saints, today. They've looked to have it in hand most of the day. The Blues have been great with their persistence and their tackling. But you get a feeling that maybe the floodgates could open. Let's hope that the Blues can hang in.
The Saints, blistering start to the second half. And the Blues have to be careful. Last week they were blown away in the second half by West Coast. And for their army of fans, not only at the Dome today, but around the country, I'd hate to see that happen 2 weeks in a row. Worked out. Del Santo's been very good. Picked it up magnificently. Turned around. Threaded the left foot ball through to Powell. Come on. Calling players to come at him.
A lot of space for Gehrig.
Long and high. Not even allowed to get to that marking contest. Big phase. Prendergast dropped what he perhaps should have taken. And we'll see a bounce.
Well, in fairness to Gehrig there, he held Livingston to one side and pointed that he wanted the ball into the pocket, and Powell kicked it straight at him.
And high too, no penetration whatsoever, so a bit of forward momentum from the kicker might have helped. There's the bench. There's a bit of talent there on the interchange bench.
Ackland. Off hands and boundary throw in. Let's go down to Jason McCartney.
Yes, just to back JB up on the Blues' second half last week, only 87 disposals, kicking 1 goal too.
Getting a lot of support today. James Brayshaw.
Touch at the moment.
Feel like he's under fire.
He needed to lift a bit, Riser, it's fair to say.
Kazitsky, Bryan, Kuda. Ball handling wasn't clean. Carrazzo. Wide to Thornton. Ball. Now wrap around Tacky. Tackle Camperelli did well to keep it rolling for Carrazzo and give him the chance. Simpson head over it, tacked it. Nice play. Been impressed with Simpson today. Thornton deliberately over the boundary line. Had no other intention. So the second half here belonging to the Saints at the moment. Kicked the only goal of this second half, and we're early in it. Favola, just repeating the news, is starting on the bench. He's played 63% of the game so far. Came off in the first quarter. 2 50-metre penalties he's given away. Disciplinary reasons. Dennis Pagan really has only reappeared for a few moments in that second quarter. Kazitsky, Del Santo, sharp hands, Milne. Right foot banana. Probably would have been best on the left there.
Too cute, Brian, but I tell you what, Nick Del Santo quiet in the first half, held by Camporelli. He's just starting to get busy.
Carrazzo through the centre. Johnson. Left foot ball inside 50. Whitnall and Voss. Voss doing well. To Lenny Hayes. Powell further afield. Waits for the ball to bounce. Dangerous. Waite closes him down. Johnson comes at Hayes. Well done, Johnson. Did particularly well. Handball over the top. Waite spins out of one. Manhandled. Will get a free.
Well, Lance Whitnall's down at full forward with Maguire. They're just got to find a marking target inside 50.
Talented young man. Jared Waite. Low ball inside 50. Longmuir unable to have a real fly at it. St Kilda controlling it from the back half.
You can't allow defenders to mark clean footy like that.
Clark is forced to go backwards momentarily to Goddard. The standing start to centre wing delivery is not great. Scotland's got to beat a couple. Did pretty well in the end to give Teague a chance. Hard at it at the ground level was Xavier Clark. Graham Thomas would like to see that.
Look, this is an ugly sort of footy, but it suits Carlton. If they play open, free-running footy, they know that the job will be against them. So they just want to try and grind their way here.
Favola comes back onto the ground just in the foreground there. There he is. Third touch of the day for Brendan. Carrazzo got it near the boundary line.
No pressure.
It was good pressure on the lead. Longmuir has marked in front of Voss, but deep.
Just their fourth mark inside 50 for the afternoon, Brian.
Tackles in St Kilda's favour there, 8-3 at the moment as well. So is the scoreboard. But this man here has an opportunity to trim it back. Longmuir. Troy, good looking kick. Umpire has not even moved in the goals. Go Blues, all right.
Well, he redeemed himself, Troy Longmuir, because his opponent Voss took that mark in his defensive 50 there only moments ago. So you've just got to work harder as a forward. If you can't mark the footy, you just can't allow your opponent to mark. On that occasion, he presented well, and then the conversion from near on the boundary was beautiful for a left footer. So the Blues hang in there. They just won't go away.
Goal apiece to start the second half. Wonderful set shot conversion from Longmuir. Blues hanging tough against this quality St Kilda outfit. Johnson went without it. Xavier Clark. The handball to Thompson was good. Hayes running hard as usual. Gets around Waite. Straightens up. Looks to Ackland. Good climb in front. Del Santo being tackled. Edged it forward to the big boy, Big Fraser. Outside of the shoe, but unable to steer it through.
Unlucky. Let's head down to Jason McCartney.
Yeah, a couple of blood rules for the Saints. Luke Ball, he's off bleeding from the left ear, and Stephen Power, the left eye.
Blood rule number however many for Luke Ball.
Just keeps getting knocked around, doesn't he?
Does indeed.
Just interesting, Fraser Garrick really hasn't led and presented today. Was it the thumb, Gary, that he's worried about with the touch in the marking?
You'd suggest it would be, yeah.
Simpson through the midfield. Wow, wonderful tackle. Kilda. Camper rallied. Bang! Hayes bowled him over. Kilda able to mop up. Not 15, says umpire Chamberlain. And Scotland able to slide that one out to Brian. Took a little bit of time getting it onto the boot. Thus the smother. Saints work really hard for this. They set it up. Look at that. The Hayes give in the step and allows Schwartz to come running down the going again. Got to sit at the back. Didn't get him. Prendergast in front.
He slipped over too, Prendergast. The kick was so bad, though, he was able to get back up and take the mark.
Teague. Perezzo, lots of room for him to move around in. Can have a bounce. Goes to Stevens. Tough ball for Stevens to raise it high. Brian's man Razor with the whistle quickly. Over the top. Good to Lappin. Football usage always been key for Nick Stevens.
Good little passage of play here for the Blues. The first goal of the third quarter game to St Kilda. Open them up. Look at Luke Ball. You want to get a sponsorship from Elastoplast or someone, surely. Every single week he gives their product a fair run. He's back on, and he will be going as hard, as always.
Lappin, the Blues, they've got 2 in a row. Some real grit being shown here by Carlton. They just keep having a go, and as we said, they won't go away. First, Lappin's first for the afternoon. Just got to keep presenting. If Favola, who's still on the interchange bench, I think.
Yeah, he got taken off again a moment ago, Gary. Did come on for about a minute.
Did he? Yeah, well, they look. I know he's back on now, Bryza, so he's just come back on. Seven look dangerous.
Blues are back in business here. They're within 14 points after consecutive goals in this third quarter. Now another one by the Blues here would really start to apply the screws to the Saints outfit. Simpson, who's been terrific. Jones really pinning the ball to him. The umpire ruling that.
They put Cooter back in the middle to try and get some clearances going their way. Favola back on now. He's playing in the goal square. Let's head down to Jason McCartney.
Yeah, Ryan Houlihan, he's off for the Blues. He's got some concern with his right groin.
Good news there for someone that, when the game is in dispute at the end, you'd probably want in the action. Kazitsky, Camporelli wrapped up in the Blake tackle. Umpire said made no attempt to get rid of it. So got over it, sucked it in, and did all the wrong things, Camper. Jones wanted to bring back on the right boot, left boot. Now he's forced Garrick to come at the ball there. His ball handling skills on that attempt weren't great. Now he tries to work it out. Livingston, Baker in there. He had some head work done earlier in the game. Johnson banged over by Baker. Goddard in there for support as well.
Just really trying to lift their intensity here, Carlton. And St Kilda endeavouring to answer the challenge. So they're two teams who are prepared to butt heads. It's a good contest.
That's what happened last time they came together. Absolute pumping.
That's right, Jim, they can't afford to get into a shootout, and the game is sort of going the way they'd like, I reckon.
Prendergast high down the line. Voss in good position to get a fist in there, did well. Maguire at ground level, taken to ground by Stevens. Stands up. Ball allowed to sit in the hands of Big Matty, and that man getting the hand gesture going, Brian.
Yeah. We hear you say that a lot, Gary, that, you know, you don't want to get into a goal fest and all that, but as a coach, how do you not get into that?
Well, have a look around the ball right here. Just clagging it up, denying some space, put a number back, make it a real one-on-one contest. They can't afford to be free-flowing Carlton and maybe take a risk and get ahead of the footy, because if they lose at the contest, goes the other way, and a 108-point defeat that we saw last year could ensue.
Just the 14 points at the moment in favour of the Saints as the ball seems to be locked in. The Medallion Club side of the Telstra Dome are going to have another stoppage. And the clearance players, Val Santo, one of the best in the competition, leads the way with 5. Thompson went to ground. And again, the ball will be bounced.
Del Santo's going to Kutafiti. Camporelli stays with Del Santo, so the Saints have got a 2-on-1 situation. There must be another free St Kilda player somewhere. Andrew Thompson, it would appear.
And that was Houlihan testing the Grawn out there with a bit of a jog on the boundary line. So at least he's up and giving him some chance of getting back out there. Thompson around the body. Now, I reckon they've put Ackland down there today, Gary, to try and give them some lead and movement across half forward. But Gary is just not presenting at all. Kazitsky, centre wing.
Goddard's gone to the goal square now too.
Xavier Clark wide looking for Fisher. Milne takes it instead. Now Garrick on the lead for the first time today. Over the head. Livingston went to ground. Fraser back on his familiar left boot. Got it. Hit the post. Carlton players were already pointing at the post.
This is the Brian Taylor post. The most hit post in the history of football, apparently.
It is indeed, Gary. 37 times this year.
Unbelievable.
That post has been hit the most hit post in history.
Any West Adelaide players hit it?
Get me started on the West Adelaide list. I can run it out for you anytime you like, Gary. Kudafiti's over the top to Scotland. And he goes short to Camporelli, trying to get some run through Kudafiti's. Claimed and slung. Camporelli goes back and gets around Ackland to Thornton. Back to Camporelli. Long ball forward now. 2-on-1 situation here. Land of the Giants with those three. Xavier Clark tries to get it off to Kazitsky and did that well. He has a bounce. Left foot kick. On his skates there was Thompson, but he composed himself. Low ball. Milne in front of Gary, can run in and kick a goal.
That's backing yourself.
Well, Andrew Thompson is a player that St Kilda have, for most of this year, been content to use off the interchange bench. He was dropped a couple of weeks ago. He started the game in the centre square today. I reckon he's just about been St Kilda's best player. And this is some pace from Stephen Milne. Couldn't quite get there. Oh, he hit the post pretty hard, did Luke Livingston, and he's just limping a bit at the minute.
Interesting replay that would be. Milne kicking his second goal, Gary. I don't know whether my arithmetic's not good, but I counted at least 20 steps in that run then.
Only little ones. They got little legs, though.
They're half steps. They're like the little pumping pistons in a model aeroplane.
A model aeroplane.
Baker, Hayes, Jones, Blake. Here they come again, the Saints. Not a lot of movement on the head of Gary. Got the set!
Oh! How's the thumb now, boys?
Look at the jukes! Just the jukes, Brian!
Just extended the way we like them. And he says, I like your jukes, Fraser.
He's only got one good duke at the moment, but have a look at this with the new do too. Just regulation for Big Fraser. He's just got to go back and drill it now. He's had some opportunity. Have a look at the hair there.
For goal number 3, Fraser Garrick, just a little low ball for his third.
And what about the kick in? Honestly, you get it in long, you get it in strong, and you get it in quick. And you don't mark that, well, the footy's still in a very dangerous part of the forward line for St Kilda. So Fraser hasn't really presented to the footy too often, certainly not as much as he normally would. Maybe it is the thumb that holds him back a bit, but that might give him some confidence to go at it. He's got 3. He's the leading goal kicker on the ground.
The big contested mark from the big forward. Gary Lyon and Brian Taylor just exploding in the commentary box on the back of it. And Fraser's got his third, got one in each quarter. Saints starting to stretch the Blues. Blake,
busy.
Del Santo, fantastic ball. It ends up in the hands of Melbourne. And the running shot on goal is there. 2 in 30 seconds.
Well, here they come. Here they come, the Saints. Nick Del Santo, the hands, quick hands, out of the centre, comes off the square and just a very quick give. The ball to Clark, to Milne. It's as easy as that, as simple as you like. Just kept it nice and open so they could run through the front of the square. Stephen Milne's now got 3. Joins Fraser Gehrig as the equal leading goal kicker on the ground.
4 minutes ago, Dennis Pagan's mob were just 14 points down and challenging for the lead. Now the Saints by 33 minutes with 8.5 left in the third. Stevens got rid of it in the nick of time. Wait. Carrazzo. A little cute one around the corner trying to set up Camporelli. But time to gather and sum up the Nick Stevens option downfield, but Baker just always wearing you. Stephen Baker.
Very good on Nick Stevens, a prolific ball winner normally, but Stevens today just the 12 touches.
Few boys with the bonces bandaged out there, Gary.
It's been a good butting of heads today.
There's one of them. Xavier Clark, unable to quite glove it. Goes back to ball. Over the top. Almost Thompson's won himself a 3. Lenny would have got one anyway, you suspect. Thompson. Forward to Blake. Kick and a half from goal. Long in the Fraser direction. Oh, just worked Livingston off the prune. Took it nicely.
The kick, Jim. Talk about the kick. All he did was saw Fraser was boundary side. All he did is kick it Fraser's side. And there's not too many players in the league that would be able to get around Gehrig and put a fist on it.
I was going to talk about it, Gary, but I thought it was your job and I won't.
I don't think you will.
Here comes Fraser. Has got another one. That's 4 on the afternoon for the big fella.
Just educating him, Bryson. It's taken us a year and a half, and he's just finally starting to appreciate some of the finer points of the game, his young Jim.
Don't want to tread on your turf, but if I have to, Gary, I will.
Look at the kick. It's easy as you like. Half a kick it was from Ackland, and then Fraser. His confidence up after the big hanger. Only a minute or two ago, then all of a sudden, the Saints have blown it open. 39 points.
15-minute mark, third quarter, Milne goal. 17-minute mark, Gehrig. 18-minute mark, Milne. 20-minute mark, Gehrig. Bang, 39 points up the Saints. They rip this one apart. Ball out of the middle. Bandage to the hilt, goes long. No one over the back except Livingston, who was in no rush to take the St Kilda forwards on.
Big Bryce, he's just lifting.
He goes with the game, Gary.
He does, he's lifted. There was a game lift because Bryza lifts.
40-point lead. Kick in. Just. Hudafidi's tee. Kicks mothered. Gets it back again. Long ball forward. Maguire. Wrapped up with a very nice tackle from Favola, who thought that might have been a holding the ball decision.
See, Brian, that's the way that Brendan, he's learned his lesson. He's got the ball back. No lip, no 50-metre, no free kick.
Still kickless. Big Fev. Nicely taken by Stevens. He was smacked into. Thompson running ahead of the ball. Left foot's the long one forward. Fraser with the hand up there. Here's Del Santo. Pencil it in. The Saints are on fire.
Just had a bit of a stink about it, didn't it, early in the third quarter. Carlton, despite that, were able to kick a goal, but now it's cracked right open. And again, well, I think you'll find there's Andrew Thompson involved. And long ball in. This time Fraser doesn't mark it, but he just controls it to the front where the quality crummers hang out. And Del Santo's one of those. Selflessly gives it off to the acting captain, and the Saints are away. A few more exciting teams when they're up and going.
What do we do now? Says Barry Mitchell, Dennis Pagan, Tony Liberatore.
Lance has gone down behind the footy. Not sure Lance is going to be able to stop it.
5 in a row for the Saints. 45 points up. This man is getting it done. Luke Ball. Ackland. Down low. Goddard. Just players running. Hayes at his brilliant best. Centering ball. Here comes Kaczynski. Over the top. Garrick. Go, big boy. Around the body with the left. Don't tell me. Just got the big curves going on the arms there. Look at Fraze. 4 goals, 5 today for the big man up forward.
A bit of excitement about the St Kilda lineup. Looks like they're enjoying this at the minute.
Stevens short to Simpson. Koutafidis has that broken up. Numbers here with the Saints. Maguire off a step to Milne. Milne to Kaczynski. Oh, it's starting to look very dangerous.
You move the footy quickly, Jim. Doesn't matter how many players the opposition can put down when you're all in sync and on the same page. There's not much you can do, and this has just been a really exciting 5 or 6 minutes of footy.
Big Justin Kaczynski. Blues fans tight-lipped. They're getting turned over by a quality outfit. That wasn't Kaczynski's absolute best, and he misses away to the left.
Making a fair fist of the captaincy today, Justin Kaczynski. He looks every inch to skip up. And he may be putting his hand up in the rotation. If you're a Carlton fan, don't be disheartened by this. They are having a crack and playing as hard and as tough as they can. They're just up against a pretty fair unit. Although you'd be disappointed with that.
This is going to come back and hurt. No, it won't. Teague battled on about 4 Saints there, and we'll wrap it up and we'll have a ball up. Like a school social, this game, where you go to the social, Gary, and they dance with you.
This will be good, Jim.
Nominated partner, and then as the night goes on, you tend to just go your own way and do a bit of exploring for the rest of the night. And
stop there, Bryce.
See if you can hook up with
stop there.
Whatever's going on, JB. Fisher. Inside 50. Here comes Fraze. Over the top, Garrick. 6 in a row, Saints.
Not quite sure about the analogy, to be perfectly honest, Bryce. If you're saying that you've hit the jackpot, well, the Saints have this in this last 8 minutes, because
just looking for another dance, Gary. Someone different.
Del Santo has had a ripping third quarter. He might just jag the bell of the board at Del Santo. Dear me.
Big Bryce's dates from dancers gone by are just scratching their heads as we speak. He was looking elsewhere all that time, they're wondering. We're going to have a second bounce in the centre.
Was he just circling? Did he not paying me enough attention at the school formal? As Justin Kaczynski comes to the interchange bench, and on comes Mark McGough for a well-earned rest for the acting skipper.
It's a big lead now for this very talented St Kilda lineup, and Del Santo. Brownlow votes in the last 2 matches against the Blues, all 3 of them, and he's on track again today. Fisher. Schwartz. Advantage paid. Streaming through the centre. Low ball forward. Fraser at the back. Good mark. Taken by Thornton.
And he just battles every week, this bloke. He gives away height and weight, but he always gives it his best.
Scotland. Handball to Lance Whitnell. Goes with the standing start barrel. Might end up working. Lands in a dangerous spot. Del Santo again.
Great touch for the quarter.
Just the courageous focus on the footy, the composure. So much to like about Nick Del Santo. Lenny Hayes at half forward. Low to Fraser. And around he comes. The snap. Away to the left-hand side from Big Fraser. Another behind.
4 goals, 6 to Fraser. So he could have had one of those big days, but as Brian went right out on that limb early in the piece, he's got his 50th. So that's come off.
Matthew Richardson got dragged for that same thing that Fraser did yesterday for playing on in that situation.
Yeah, but that's not Fraser's individual team rule.
Brian. 6 in a row here for the Saints to just split this game like you wouldn't believe. It was only at the 10-minute mark. We're talking that Carlton were 14 points down and a chance to go forward, and all of a sudden 54 points in the same quarter 20 minutes later. Prendergast. And this sort of form can see St Kilda have a genuine crack at the competition later this year. Waite lost their footing, struggling to stand there.
Switchboard's lit up. Channel 9 about that dance analogy, Brian. There might be need for you to post on the website at some stage just exactly what you're getting at.
What I meant, Gary, was the players out there that were playing on each other were just starting to separate a little and go their own way.
I see.
Scotland. Now the middle, here's Favola. The first time today that he's presented up for the ball, or been in a position to anyway. Been playing up the ground. Swartz, Fisher, Powell, McQualter, the young man, inside 50 to make it 7 in a row.
Yeah, this is what happened last week for Carlton, competitive for a half against the West Coast, and then from all reports just absolutely blown out of the water, and they don't need this to happen again, although it is giving every indication. This game has just opened up. It was tight, it was one-on-one, but in the last 15 minutes the whole thing has opened up, and St Kilda players are running free, their lack of accountability, and it's just too easy.
Plenty for the two-time premiership coach Dennis Pagan to worry about. Is he on the phone to that man? Saying, hang with us, mate. We're struggling a bit at the moment, but we'll be all right. Houlihan, little kick out of there. Koutafidis, double team. Baker. McQualter, the goal kicker. Ball. Again, the handling of the pill, so good from him. Ackland. Baker. Wide is still deficient. Over the top to Blake. 35 out. Shot on goal.
Sure, easy.
There's another one.
Hit the post.
No, just got a little snick on it. The left-hand post on this occasion, Brian.
Yep. Just too easy once again. Through the middle of the ground, they win that hard footy and away they go. The Blues have got to get, well, Brendan Favola yet to have a kick. Jared Waite just 2 kicks for the afternoon. Lance Whitnell just 8 possessions. Some of their big names, particularly their forwards, have given nothing.
Whitnell with possession 9. 20 seconds in the third remaining. Lappin kicked a goal early to get Carlton within 14 points in this quarter. That's now 61 points in favour of the Saints boss. Ackland, who's been impressive today. Powell.
Down ground against Brendan.
McGough. Drilling ball. Fraser's man fell over at the last moment. Three Blues players collide midair. It won't matter though. What a 15 to 20 minute period for the Saints. They were able to kick 7 consecutive goals. They were 14 points up at the 9-minute mark of that third quarter. Ended up 61 points. That man there, Luke Ball, did the damage in the third.
Send you down just to interview that bloke.
The last term now underway. The Blues need to hang very tough here. Longmuir, centre half forward Whitnell, falling over. Got a little toe poke to it. Houlihan out wide to his mate Lappin. He concedes to Carrazzo. Outside the 50, low ball forward. Good result. Free kick and/or mark to Lance Whitnell.
Well, Houlihan on. Jason told us that he had some problems with his groin, but they brought him back on.
There he goes. Man, that was very boisterous.
Well, he might miss one of the great comebacks if he's going to leave the ground right now. Not that we'd expect Carlton to come back and win, but just some respect and some resilience would be appreciated.
Very easy to tip on your mob when the sun goes down, Gary.
Yeah, indeed.
It's the time when you got to stand tall. Lance Whitnell has steered it through, and the Blues get the first of the final term.
Now they're going to win the quarter. I guess that would be the thing that Dennis Pagan would have demanded. You'd reckon at three-quarter time, down by 62 points. Whitnell up in that forward line hasn't had a good afternoon, neither has Favola, obviously, or Waite. He's also got to start to get busy. Koutafidis has gone down to play at centre-half forward. So Dennis Pagan's certainly given them a chance with some of their more high-profile players. I guess they need some opportunity out of the middle as well.
All right, well, let's see what the Blues can conjure up here in this last quarter. First goal going to Whitnell. The margin at that three-quarter time break, 62 points. And let's see if they can get a run of goals happening. Baker with the Carlton attacking end of the ground. Swartz, who was quite an attacking play in that third quarter. Kazitsky to move the ball forward to Ackland, diving attempt.
It's important to get Ryan back into the middle of the ground as opposed to continuing to go out wide. This gives them a few more options.
It's like the big fella Bryan, Chris Bryan for the Blues is injured in the middle too. Gary, he'll come from the ground, I imagine, limping pretty badly. McWalter, Prendergast off hands. Kazitsky, wonderful handball. Ackland amongst the goals today. This one to the open goal square, got it. Ackland has kicked his third.
He's been a handy pickup, Kane Ackland, and again, with Koutafidis up forward, they have really stretched this Carlton defence. You've got Ackland and Kazitsky playing through there, and Gehrig as well. And of course, with Bryan coming off, it means that Prendergast now has to go into the centre circle and ruck, which is a tall order.
First goal of the final term for the Saints, Jason McCartney.
Yeah, Brian off. He's got some problems with the right ankle after that last clash in at the centre bounce.
An incredible situation here. Both teams had an extra forward in their half of the ground.
So Prendergast into the centre to compete with Kazitsky.
Why is that incredible, Gary?
Well, you could have left it how it was and just backed your team to get it out of the middle, Brian, but in the end Carlton said, well, the way we're going, we better go man up the extra player. And
would have thought building of the pyramids would have been an incredible thing, but you call that
your analogy was incredible.
Continues. It has been a touchy relationship all afternoon between these two as Simpson has his arm trapped in that tackle. And he gets the benefit of the doubt from the umpire, Chamberlain.
Here's the injury to Chris Bryan. Ankle. Right there, right ankle.
Copped the boot of Kazitsky and just turned the ankle on it.
So the Saints are away again. Ackland, just outside the 50, can have a crack at his fourth. Long drop punt from Ackland. Free kick picked out. Going to go the Saints' way.
Fraser's free, is it? Or
Hayes hung onto his arm, I think.
Well, he started in the goal square with David Teague as his opponents. Let's have a look and see what the free was for. Not that this is going to show us, I don't think. No, it was a jumper pull, was it?
Had the right arm sort of pinned a bit, but...
dear, no.
Well, Lenny Hayes from point-blank range should kick goal number 17 for the Saints, and he does.
Well, it's a little similar to the one that Fraser Gehrig was on the receiving end of early in the piece. He's got his back there, turns around. I wouldn't have played. That's not a free kick, I wouldn't have thought. But it's been paid and it's in the book, so it's irrelevant. And Lenny Hayes just having a bit of a breather down there, playing 10 metres out from the full forward line.
Saints, couple in a row in this last quarter. 10-goal margin thereabouts. In the middle, Prendergast forced to do the work because of Bryan going off with that ankle injury. We saw a couple of moments ago, Xavier Clark with the punch forward. Simpson. Rafael Clark to Xavier Clark. Prendergast working really hard at the ground level ball. Carrazzo, bit of a no-looker. Hayes, McWalter, inside 50, flying high, taking the mark. Livingston.
He's come out to play on Ackland with Thornton going back on to Gehrig.
Houlihan just sets it up for Prendergast. Got a couple to beat. Max Hutchison with a big fly, but just forgotten about the ball in the end of it. Maguire went to ground. Frivola slapped it forward. Camporelli and Waite. Here's Waite. Handball back to Walker. The left foot guiding ball forward. All St Kilda back here. And the skipper, Justin Kazitsky, took a nice mark and gave it to Goddo.
He has loved the fact today, Kazitsky, that he's had some responsibility, Gary.
Yeah, he's looked just so at home, hasn't he?
Fisher in the contest there with Longmuir. Oh, I think he might have been hurt mid-air there, knocked out, and he actually went to ground. Fisher, no, he's okay. But he's won himself a free kick at half-back.
Big Feb. I thought Brendan was going to get his first kick for the afternoon there.
Actually had 3 handballs today. 2 handballs.
Just the 2.
He's played 72% of today's game, Brendan Frivola. Fisher, just a high ball to half-forward. Ackland, who's worked really hard, teeth back and back.
You never doubt the courage of this man. Where he struggled a bit in the last month, his teams have put really quick small forwards on him. So if he can get the right match up, he's still got some footy in him.
Clark steals it, and he's away, and he sees something he likes. Here's Milne, inside 50. What will he do? He likes to be creative. Couple of bounces, looking for the draw, but went for the kick. Milne's got 4.
He's had a good afternoon, Stephen Milne. He's been lively, he's presented. The second quarter there, he really had to push up hard and give a contest. The kick from David Teague. I suppose it's one thing being courageous and backing into packs. You've got to maintain possession. Kuda slipped over, that's why he couldn't get to him. He was almost intent on giving that to Fraser Gehrig in the end, wasn't he?
He was.
Dennis Pagan with the phone almost permanently attached to his ear. The side a long way back now from the Saints.
Well, they sit on the bottom of the ladder, Carlton, with just the 2 wins and a draw. They've got, after today, they play Fremantle, Hawthorn, Richmond, Port Adelaide, Collingwood, Essendon and the Kangaroos. The game against Hawthorn in round 17 might be the definitive wooden spoon clash.
Ball's been fantastic. Comes through. Left foot kick inside the 50. Teague ran hard at the ball. Lappin shoveled a handball out of there. Scotland stops and waits. Koutafidis to Livingston. To Scotland. High down the Doug Hawkins wing. And that's a mark.
Is it always the Doug Hawkins wing, or is it just for Western Bulldog game?
Out of due respect to the great man, Gary, like to run with it every week as that one goes down the line.
That's not the question I asked.
Kazitsky takes a fine mark, overhead mark, and dumps it off to Voss.
It might be the Jeff Ablett wing today.
They're reluctant to name the stands here. Why would that be, Gary?
Well, they've got the Coventry and the Lockett ends, of course, and that's about it. I suppose because 4 different clubs used it as their home base, Bryson.
Just honour some of the greats. Dougie, 350 games, a living legend.
Well, it is his wing when the Dogs play here.
Baker, chipping ball on the lead. Hayes, who's coming from the square, getting a bit of a spell down there.
Could have the Gary Lyon forward pocket.
Gary Lyon
bench.
Medical room.
Hayes will line up for his second goal of the final quarter. And he has been very good today. 22 disposals, 4 marks, 4 inside 50s, 1 rebound 50, and 1 goal. Spent 93% of his time on the field today, Lenny Hayes, and that's his second goal.
Be enjoying that little run down there, Lenny Hayes, I reckon. Yeah, certainly he's got a couple of goals on the board. Max Hutchison just gets the job done. Baker's been great today, all day on Nick Stevens. Had a really good afternoon. Ran really hard at the footy, and Slenny's going to see if he can't bag another couple. 2 in the last quarter. Stephen Powell comes off, Mark McGough on, and Andrew Thompson about to come on as well. He's had a great day.
St Kilda really busting this one open in the second half. And the Blues again for the second week in a row struggling to be competitive in the second half of the match. It must be said that they've met 2 fine opponents. West Coast last week really gave it to them. 77-point win over there at Subi. The Blues were right with them till half-time. The same applies today. They trailed by 19 points at half-time today after being level at quarter-time. Now they're a long way back. Kick forward for Milne. Fist away. Fisher. In fact, it was McGough. Inside the 50. The G-Train picks it up. Stops and waits and gives it off to Raph Clark, who inexplicably went with the outside of the boot and nearly kicked it out of bounds on the full.
Brendan Favola coming to the interchange bench once again, and well, might be St Kilda a fateful laugh because they can afford to at this particular point in time, but Brennan's come off with the stats of 2 handballs for the afternoon and 3 free kicks against, so he's in the red.
It's a pat on the head there from the staff. Fraser Garrick with that handball, his first handball of the day, has been very good in front of the goals, 4 goals 6, but handball not his go normally.
What would the message be for Brendan Favola? Brian, it's fair to say you could be a touch cantankerous.
Well, he was slightly undisciplined in the first quarter, Gary, and I think the message for Brendan Favola is spend some time on the bench and don't put him out there to play as Prendergast marks attacking 50, and that will hurt him more than anything.
Well, he does care about his footy. He may not give the impression as being a bit of a laid-back character, but he cares and it'll be hurting, and I guess they'll want to see this week how much it hurts Brendan Favola to put in a display like he has today.
It's interesting because when Dennis Pagan first arrived, he was getting so much out of Brendan Favola, more than anyone else had got out of him, and all of a sudden it seems to have gone off in the opposite direction. Prendergast here though, 25 metres out. That one needs to draw left quickly, and it hasn't. It's the 1 goal picked by Lance Whitnell in this last quarter, and the Carlton fans are sitting in disbelief if they haven't already left. Let's go down to Jason McCartney.
Yeah, Raph Clark missed that pretty easy shot at goal, that last one. Grant Thomas, no favours, straight off.
Little airising, I would have thought, from Raph Clark.
Del Santo ragdolled by Scotland. Goes back by hand. It wasn't a great handball. Wade had to really go and get it. Ends up with Teague. High kick forward from him. Disputed ball out there. Ozzie Jones had a good start to the game. Hasn't had to do much since. Thompson back to Hodgson through the centre. Sort of holds the kick, and that's a good result.
Free kick, Carlton. Shepherd from Milne, unnecessary in the end. He was thinking of looking after his teammate, but it was an unnecessary play by Stephen Milne.
Kozinski there, Gary. Have you seen his game today?
Really good, Bryza. He looks fit and strong, and he looks like he's going to finish this year off in really good shape.
He looks more mobile than I've ever seen him, I reckon.
Yeah, indeed.
A couple of pounds lighter in the thighs, and normally, I guess, at the start of the year, I thought maybe as a sort of a lumbering ruckman, but as this year has gone on, he's all of a sudden become a nice moving key position player. Hayes, look at that, firing the handball under pressure to Del Santo, who has poise like no other in the competition. Voss, Milne's coming off for that indiscretion as well. Garrick on the lead. And just the hand there, the thumb, just not grafting the ball the way he would have liked.
It's been a good effort from Fraser. We should also point out that he was on the verge of having surgery. Stephen Milne being dragged for that, giving away that free kick when Kozinski had taken that mark.
4 goals today for Fraser, wasting no time here. And that one bending back. Not enough length in it.
Still very much in the Coleman medal hunt too, Fraser Gehrig, although those sorts of individual honours don't tend to play too heavily on Fraser's mind.
I think he'll go on and win it.
Someone had to track him down by phone last year to let him know he'd snaffled the award, I think, the big Fraser. Just went missing the weekend when it was decided.
He's off watching a mate play for a bit of footy.
Del Santo got it to Ackland. Schwartz ends up with it. And he'll kick a goal.
That's his second for the afternoon. The Saints going into today's game had a percentage of 107. Just a touch over 107, and I guess when there's a log jam like there is around, well, really from second position down to 10th, percentage is going to become very important. So they are looking at a 100-point plus victory here, the Saints, and I reckon maybe that would have been brought up by Grant Thomas.
St Kilda doing it easily here, 5 in a row in the last quarter, and their percentage as a result of where we're at the moment on the scoreboard was 107% coming into this game. It has now jumped to 114%. Ball out of the middle from a long 50-metre goal. Got a touch on it, Livingston on the line. St Kilda this year, Gary, have won just the 7 games. This will be win number 8. With 7 games remaining, 12's probably going to get you in the 8. They've still got it in front of them.
Yeah, they have, although this is the sort of form I know we should also bear in mind the opposition, and that's not being disrespectful. They are just a genuine bottom 2 team on the ladder. So you've got to take it in some sort of context, but they will be getting some confidence from this, the Saints.
Blake sets it up high. Kaczynski again.
And look, they're overwhelmed in that back half. Poor old Livingston and Carlton. I mean, it just keeps coming in. They battle valiantly as it is against the odds, but sheer weight of numbers is going to wear them down in the end.
If he kicks this, St Kilda will have kicked 13 of the last 14 goals of the match. On the way. He's got it.
Well, last week they kicked 15 goals, the West Coast to 1. After half-time. This is, sadly, history repeating itself for the Carlton faithful, and there's Luke Ball coming off to an overwhelming round of applause. Here's a start.
There's the Carlton faithful leading.
Stephen Milne back on.
The Saints, to finish the game, have kicked 6 in a row, and they've still got lots of time on the clock. And what a big couple of weeks in terms of crowds coming up for St Kilda. They play the Tigers next week, MCG, big crowd, and then Collingwood the week after. So they're going to get a real finals feel in terms of atmosphere over the next couple of weeks. Simpson for the Blues takes McGoffin on the foot race, got good help from Waite, got within range, but the angle was always tight.
This is a side Carlton that won 10 games last year, gentlemen. Why have they fallen so badly off the pack?
Also won the Wizard Cup start of this season.
I don't know whether that is as significant in terms of... I mean, they won important games last year.
They won it on the back of Whitnell and Favola playing really good football a lot of the time, did they not?
I think this midfield was a bit more competitive.
Ball bounced for Camporelli, and he steers it to Lappin.
Well, Matty Lappin, he hasn't had a big afternoon. Matthew tries hard. 16 possessions, and he's kicked 1 goal.
Should kick his second. Almost directly in front. 45 out. Play with his talent should convert, and he has. So Lappin gets his second. And the Blues 8th. And those fans there will be hoping that the old saying, Gary, that it's always darkest before dawn is accurate, because they're a proud club. They've won more flags than anyone else, as we know, but at the moment, as you said, they're bottom 2 material, and rightly so.
I just wonder whether they would have thought the dawn had broken last year with that very commendable 10 wins. Something to build on, but they have gone backwards this year in a big way, and that would be the most disappointing thing for the Carlton team and the coaches and the members and the players.
So the Blues, what can they achieve out of the rest of the season? Not a lot. Perhaps avoid the wooden spoon in a fight with Hawthorn in a couple of weeks. Gone backwards, says Gary Lyon, the Blues at the moment. And Gary, a sense perhaps a year or two before they start to go forward.
Well, it looks like they're going to get priority picks again in the draft, and that's the way to go, of course. This is how St Kilda rebuilt from being a bit of a laughing stock at various stages. There's one of those players.
Goddard. Blake now. Umpire Ray Chamberlain, who just has given the P more roles than it's ever had in its life
We'll
today.
find out how many he's given today, Rosa.
Well, I can tell you he's given 9 free kicks to Carlton and 1 to St Kilda. I can break that up for you, Gary, but... Centering ball, Kazitsky in the hole. Lappin got back nicely to Phillip, though, for the Blues defensively. Sizzling ball up to Brian, who's back on after that ankle injury at centre-half back.
Nice kick.
He goes for the big, long ball burster. Oh, Walker with a fly from the side, couldn't take it. Goddard was terrific, really stuck his head over it, and we'll get a bounce.
Andrew Walker's one of those players, and often you'll hear Carlton people say, oh, he hasn't come on as quickly. Well, he's also playing in a team that are battling, and you've got Goddard and these fellas who can come into this St Kilda lineup with the superstars around them. It's a much easier introduction to AFL footy. So,
what about that stat, Gary? Kazitsky, 11 marks today.
Oh, he's a good player, Bryson.
One forward.
Wonder who's been dancing with Brian.
Stoppage on the Blues, but another contested footy, 50 out. And we'll do the bounce again.
So, just back to the point, I mean, Andrew Walker is a good talent, and obviously he's got some big pluses, and Dennis Pagan's giving him some big jobs to try and get his learning curve up as quick as he can, but he's in a side that's struggling, and it's always harder.
Lenny Hayes tried to thread it to Schwartz, but missed him. Lappin normally uses the ball well, and that's no exception. Big lads, though. Drop the pud. And Fisher has it in the back pocket. He goes for a low ball. That's touched. Romain didn't play, and Lappin will get it back again.
Oh.
Spins out of one.
Oh.
Spins out of another, but he was out of play. And the ball will be thrown in.
Lance has just had the 11 touches as we look at the big month ahead for St Kilda. Riser, you're right, big game the Saints, big game the Tigers, the Demons who are in a hole, and then the Cats. So 3 of the 4 sides inside the 8, but only one of them really travelling well.
Thompson to Milne. 5.5 minutes remaining in the game as Wade applied the tackle on Blake and won himself a free ball. 141 to 54 here today in front of a good crowd, 36,000 odd. Jason McCartney reported earlier. Come to watch the Saints, some big crowds for them, as Gary's alluded, in the next couple of months. And Simpson has just slotted into the spot and taken a mark. Now this man's kicked 2 today.
He's not been the worst by a long shot for the Blues.
He kicked any goals for the year coming into this game, and he's lining up for his 3rd of the day.
I'd love to know who's on him. I reckon that's the question that Grant Thomas would be asking. He did just stand there on his own.
Simpson. Players just forming a guard of honour as he comes in on both sides. Have a look at that. Beautiful stuff. Simpson comes in and nails his 3rd. 2 in a row for the Blues.
Well, that's the future, I guess. Kate Simpson. He's only played 13 games in his short career, but he looks like a player. Recruited from the Eastern under-18s. Nice skills. Del Santo comes off for a spell. Stephen Powell comes back on.
So is that all their gun midfielders off the ground now, Gary?
Well, let's see. We've got Del Santo down there. I think Ball came off, did he not? Maguire's off. Look at these two.
Seen out of Dad's army.
Come back from the war. Luke Ball and Stephen Baker. 2 players. Won't be the last time they got head bandages. They've both been outstanding today.
Centre square infringement going to go Carlton's way. And the big boy Brian. Watch this left foot delivery. Sits it out in front of Big Lance. Bounces in front of him. And a good smother. That was really well done from Fisher.
Good desperation and good signs for the whole of the St Kilda side. This is just a launching pad. This is what the Blues have got. They got Freo at the G, the Hawks at the G, And then Richmond and the Kangaroos.
Handball missed its target. Stevens goes off the ground and the Blues get their third in a row.
Third in a row. I snuck up on you. Well, that wouldn't be the most pleasing thing. Just slowly ground to a halt. The Saints. And this is not as bad as the scoreboard looks. It's not a disgraceful performance, Brian. Or James, they have just been outplayed by a better side. They kept having a crack. You couldn't say that they haven't had a go.
Well, they were able to close the game down in the first half, weren't they? And they, just through talent, weren't able to go on with that in the second half and keep it tight.
It's that period in the third quarter where it cracked wide open.
Like the social I was trying to explain to you, Gary.
Oh, is that what you were getting at? The dance?
Just as the night goes on, you separate.
And?
Go your own way. Get your own possessions.
Brian. Leave it alone,
Give
Brian.
up on it, Bryza.
Prendergast. It was a real clear example. Simpson. McGough just harassing. It's the future of McGough at St Kilda, Gary.
Well, I don't think he'd be in their best 22. Leg speed is the problem, but they keep playing him, so...
Gary, not
yes.
having McGough in his best 22. As Kilda wraps Swartz, who's kicked the colour today, up in the tackle, and they get a free because of it. Kilda a little mystified. Swartz goes wide, looking for Ackland. I've been really impressed the way that he, as a ruckman, Gary, has gone to half forward and presented up time and time again, knowing that, you know, Hamill and Rewalt aren't there and that's his job.
3 goals, and as you said, just early on I thought he's probably just learning the caper there, but since early stages he's been very good.
Knocked down, Kazitsky, Powell, delivery forward. Was the St Kilda player held there? I think it may be a free kick in the end too, that man Kazitsky. Knocking the arm, said the umpire, which is the correct rule. So Livingston got that wrong. Very difficult for a defender when trying to punch the ball not to get some part of the arm in a contest like that. Kazitsky will line up for goal number 4 for him today as the skipper of the Saints. There's goal umpire Vendercat ready to go left or right. As Kazitsky says no need to. Just get behind the ball and watch it come over your scone. Kazitsky's got 4 Saints fans are ecstatic.
Well, he is a rising star winner. And that, I don't know if he was a NAB rising star winner, but he would be if it was one now. He has had a lot of injuries, but someone asked through the week how often he and Rewalt have played together in the same team, and that would be an interesting stat, because once they're up, I mean, he's in this sort of form now, and Rewalt in his best form, and Hamill back out there crashing and bashing. Boy, Jingo's Bryza. That's a very, very attractive looking setup.
Potent.
Potent would be the word, Jim Bob.
So the Saints, by a long way, against the Blues at Telstra Dome. Stevens has kept going, but his footy's going the other way.
Ray's got him.
And I don't know whether Ray's 100% sure who's going to end up with the ball here. I think it's Brian.
There he is.
Surely the Blues were away. Sure why he'd stop play, but he's going to, and now he goes with the long left foot delivery. Comes to the back. Here's Walker. Tucked hard against the line. Good vision. Saw Camporelli and peeled the ball back nicely.
Camporelli out of contract. Brian, what do the Blues do with him?
How old is he, Gary?
Well, that's a very good question.
I reckon he'd be in the high 20s.
29 he is, Gary.
29, Brian.
Okay. Well, the Blues recontract him, Gary. That's what they do.
That's what I was asking. That's
Scott Camporelli, low and straight. So the Blues have kicked 4 of the last 5 goals of the match. Camporelli's got a couple.
Well, as we've said, he did a pretty good job early in the piece on Nick Del Santo. He's boxed on and fought pretty hard. Walker getting his hands on it. They kicked 4 of the last 5, so I mean this could have been 100 plus. had it continued to go, but they've been able to dig in and fight their way back a bit, and that's a good sign.
Just under 2 minutes remaining. Blues have got 4 of the last 5 goals. Good finish for them. Hayes, who's had a spell up forward, gone back into the middle. Works it forward. Kazitsky banging heads with Waite. Defensive kick by Waite was highly skilled.
How hard is it, Gary, for the premiership players in the Blues outfit, Koutafidis, Whitnell, Camporelli, to keep playing every week when they're getting smacked?
Oh, that would be difficult, particularly when these blokes have played in arguably one of the greatest teams ever back in '95. But you're out there, you're doing the business. One of them's the captain, the other two are well-paid professionals.
Difficult knowing in your time you're probably not going to win another premiership too, isn't it?
Well, it is, but there'll be a lot of players in that boat, Isaac.
Lappin.
Oh, that's
Not good, was it? Xavier Clark, Garrick or Milne raffle it. Milne says, I'll go back and take the set shot from 5. Frey's just protecting his back, the right thing to do.
The big boy normally takes over in that situation, Brian.
No, basic football skill will tell you to call the player back in that situation, JB. Something he hasn't quite grasped, has he? Would not have any idea about whatsoever.
He hasn't quite got his head around that concept yet.
Milne's able to kick his 5th goal.
Normally the big man, Brian, in this situation takes over and says the pill's mine.
Well, that's a fair indicator of where you're at in your footy education.
A long-time written rule that the man in front will just be protected from the man behind.
Exactly right, Jim. Just stand guard. Say back you come with the secure in the knowledge that I am protecting your back.
Remember a big boy for the Pies in the mid-80s. He's climbed over blokes. Cutting a lonely figure there, Fev.
It's one of those days. You would have had a day like that in your career, Brian? Or 2 or 3?
Can't remember having one like that.
Hey, no, we've all had them.
I've had more than my fair share.
Stevens forward, bouncing in front of Whitnell and Hodgson.
What about you, Gary?
Whitnell did well. Camporelli to Walker. In some space. Walker has pulled the shot to the left. And just to behind.
We've all had dirty days, Brian, and you do feel like the world's against you, the umpire's against you, the coach is against you. You wonder whether your teammates are looking at you a bit funny. He's just got to get out. In fact, he has only played about half of the game, has he not, Fev? Well, 61%. Might not be a bad idea to leave the tracksuit on after the game and head off for a bit of a run and a trot, just to cleanse the soul, my word.
Oh, you're kidding.
Not at all. Not at all.
So you'd tell Brendan Favola, if you were coaching the Blues now, to go and run Albert Park Lake?
No, I wouldn't tell him. I'm just saying that if it's... I know a lot of players have done that. You know, if you haven't played well or you haven't played much of the game, it's the first step to getting back on the bike rather than go home and stew and kick the cat and yell at anyone that comes within 20 metres, which we've all done. Get out, put the runners on and pound around Princes Park. But anyway, Ian Prendergast has got a shot after the siren. It is academic, of course, because the Saints have done what they needed to do. And that probably sums up the day. Failed to make the distance. And that is one very big win for the St Kilda Footy Club.